of course, that is the federal government allocating about 118 billion naira to the defense agency.
Yes, the federal government has allocated a sum of 7,940,323,192 naira to the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria in the 2025 appropriation bill to revamp the nation's armed production capabilities. Established in 1963 to manufacture weapons locally, DICON's performance has been repeatedly questioned as Nigeria continues to rely heavily on foreign countries for arms and ammunition. Successive administrations have promised to revitalize the corporation, committing significant funds to boost domestic production of weapons. However, the reality on the ground tells a different story. Between January and July 2024, the federal government spent no less than 63.6 billion naira on procuring military equipment and ammunition for the Nigerian military and the Office of the National Security Advisor. Similarly, a sum of 115 billion naira was spent on arms and ammunition imports in the first quarter of 2023. A detailed breakdown of the 2025 appropriation bill before the National Assembly reveals that personnel is to go 2,958,154,534 naira. Overhead expenses 774,174,124 naira, and capital projects 4,207,994,534 naira.
Billions upon billions and millions. Now, from the story, obviously, the federal government promised to revitalize the corporation and, of course, significant funds to actually be able to produce ammunitions locally. But from all indication, however, it seems as though we're still making this importation and we're spending billions to procure ammunitions and weaponry for defense system in Nigeria. What's your take about this? What could be the reason why we can't even produce these things ourselves at this time, which would definitely cause a lot of cost for us in Nigeria?
Well, let's say it's a good development that the present administration has looked into local manufacturing of weaponry. I think it's a good development first and foremost. However, before you begin to have such intention, because still at the level of intention, we have been seeing a lot of some previous administration allocating this money to this agency, and yet we have very little or no impact in our reliance on foreign importation of military hardware. All right. I feel there are some certain things that need to be revitalized first. Steel is a critical raw material for weapon manufacturing. And we have a Jakarta still lying fallow. What have we done about it? All right. That the government must be able to match their talk, okay, with the expectation of the people. Now, that has not been done. I hope it's not just going to be like a state house clinic that every year the government in the budget, every year the government allocates some money to it, yet no president in this country has ever visited that place. We are here in this country where the former president, the former first lady said that when he visited the state house clinic, there was nothing there. So, as Mr. President took a tour of the place and see what we have been doing, since we have been given this amount of money, how much, what is the percentage of the weapons that comes from that place that we are using today? So that if it is not working, there's no big deal that you can partner with a foreign agency and said we want to partner with you to manufacture our own weapon to our own specification. Send our people to that place. After all, a lot of phones that are considered Nigerian phones or the American phones are manufactured in China. All right, a lot of cars, they are considered American cars, are manufactured in China, but with their own specification. So if like I said earlier, it's a very good development that we are trying to do that, and in trying to do that, we are going to monitor, we are going to control how our weapon is being used. Right? We are not going to over-rely. We remember in this country during Goodluck Jonathan era, when Americans said they are not going to sell weapons to us, and because some certain people in Nigeria wrote and said this weapon that the Goodluck Jonathan administration is about to purchase will be used against civilians. All right? So therefore, we have to find a way to see that this money does not end up
just being a waste.
It not just end up in private pockets, as it were earlier on. Yes, because at the end of the day, it's a budget.
Yeah.
This budget is a big budget allocation. This budget can be funded. You can see even in a 49.9 trillion naira budget, about is it 15 trillion will be funded with borrowing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Will be funded with borrowing. So that we will not end up borrowing this money and it end up in private pockets. So what are we doing? What are those things at this time? We need a report of where they are. How many amount of weapon can we get in a year? How is it going to be better than us not
buying?
All right, as it were. So in the end, apart from that, like again, defense and security already have 4.91 trillion naira allocated to defense, not in the manufacturing of the weapon. So I'm not against us locally manufacturing these things, but what I'm saying is that yes, a good intention, but are we at the point of giving them that kind of money and we don't see any
anything?
You understand? So if giving them that kind of money means nothing else, why don't we do a partnership? Or maybe with China, we can control how we can do it. Put that money to them, but it's just going to be like a chicken and the egg situation. But if we want to manufacture, we must be purposeful about it. You must be intentional about it, and we must make sure other sources, because we may not end up manufacturing weapon in Nigeria and 99% of the raw materials is imported. It makes no sense.
It's almost the same thing.
It makes no sense. So if you are going to manufacture weapon for your military, all right, in your country, make sure that at least 60% of the raw material is sourced here. So that at the end of the day, we may not end up doing the same thing all over again. I mean, it's a very good intention. Mr. President, kudos to you to try to see that we actually kick in with the manufacturing productivity in this country and make sure that people are gainfully employed. Because if that place is working, it's not just only military that work there.
True.
There are some civilian engineers that will be employed, that will work there, and it will create jobs, as it were. So I feel that beside just making that pronouncement, beside allocating that much to them, we must ensure that other critical sector that will make the agency, productive, is working.
Well said. Okay, Barrister. Let's have Barrister on the screen, Barrister Tuji Adonid. My question is, Chief Godi mentioned something about the Jakarta, that's the steel factory, which of course right now we do not even know the situation and the condition of that place. But trust me, we know it's not functional, that's the word. But do you think that it's better we invest more to revitalize that company or revamp it, to make it work or functional again, so that it's one of the things, like he said, we need those raw materials to be in Nigeria, and if we have that, it's better than importing those materials and at the same time we'll now start producing. It's more like how they put it, penny wise pounds foolish, something like that. But so what do you think? Do you think putting all this money into revamping most of these industries or sectors who are in charge of whatever will make the raw materials available to us in Nigeria, so there could be productivity, because we need to be producers to actually help the economy? Do you think that way this might work if we really want to do this, or you think it's still better us buying from outside rather than trying to make it work here in Nigeria? Barrister, please.
to adopt the submission of my Mr. Fose, and I want to say that I align myself with his submission. And I want to also say that, look, there is nothing better than doing it within your own country. If you truly want to develop our country, if you want to grow, we must rely on our own things. We cannot be going outside and then importing and expecting what's it called, progress. If we have that production in our country, it will create more employment. That's one. It will reduce our expenses regarding foreign spending. So there's nothing better than doing it in our own country. We need to revamp all these manufacturing and production company. That's how we can grow. That's how our dollar rate can come back to where they were before now. So I totally support the idea of revamping those industries, those manufacturing company, production company, and especially this particular one that we're talking about. It will help us in. But like I said, I have my concern, I have my worry. There's one thing to have a program. There's another thing to implement. The problem we have been having in our country is not about not having good policies and programs. We have so many good policies, so many good programs. But are we going with it? Are we purposeful about it? Just like Mr. Ofusi said, that if you truly want to move, we must be purposeful and intentional about it. Are we intentional? Are we purposeful? The agriculture industry that you mentioned there are so many information regarding it will come up, it will start running. So many years back, that has been the promises. Even the current Prime Minister is still telling us that it's going to work. For me, there's nothing bad in having our own local production, having our own local manufacturing, whether for military hardware or any other thing that I want to. I think it will be a progress and good development for our country if we can patronize local contents. That will grow us more than relying on foreign goods and commodity. It will save us a lot of money and a lot of added foreign currency. We need to. I'm in total support of having local production of whatever form, even toothpick, and not only this one we're talking about. Anything that can be produced in Nigeria, let's start producing it. India, you will see them. You will see even India and Nigeria, they will try as much as possible buy car produced in India. Why in Nigeria? They will not go for other products. They will prefer to buy those things here. So it's high time we Nigerians cultivate the habit of patronizing our local. Unfortunately, those who are supposed to lead in that regard are not leading well, because the president tells us to be patriotic and patronize our local content. Yet the president will be patronizing foreign contents, even medical. The president go abroad to do it. So I am not comfortable. I will not say go here and say yes, what they say is good and it will work. That money, you not even see anything thereafter again. By the end of the year, nothing will happen. Nothing may happen. Let me see that happen. So that's my worry. My worry is following, walking the talk. The talk is cheap, but we don't and whenever we say it, we don't follow it. And that is my concern, the concern I have. Is anything that will promote local production, anything that will promote local manufacturing, anything that will be done, that will have to be in Nigeria, I am a supporter of it. But I have my worry. The corruption is our big problem. The money will be allocated, and at the end of the day, we will not hear anything thereafter. That's my position there.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Barrister Tunji. Okay, so Comrade, I have a question. So Chief Gordy mentioned that he really hopes that this money doesn't go into private pockets. So now my question is, how do you think the effectiveness and the accountability of the spending can be monitored so it doesn't go into private pockets?
That has been our problem. Okay, sorry, comrade. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Okay, thank you. Yeah. It's a good one, because it's a good topic that we have to discuss, and at this time of our political expedition. You see, it's a good one that we have to, adopt local manufacturing of our hardware, military hardware. But when you look at the money, like you mentioned, corruption, is the bane, of the system that we operate presently. And I will tell you that this about over there is around 80 billion naira that has been, earmarked, to the Defense Industrial Corporation of Nigeria. This 2025 appropriation bill. You get it now. It passed through the National Assembly, and the corruption there starts from the National Assembly. There is no way this money has been allocated, to the National Assembly, to the military DICON, Defense Industrial Corporation of Nigeria, passed through, from members of the National Assembly. And I will tell you vividly that I understand the dynamics, of our legislators. In the House, we have a chairman as Committee on Defense. In the Senate, we also have the chairman as Committee on Navy, Army, and all, and the Air Force. So all these members of these houses, let me tell you, they have a major stake in the importation of these hardwares, because most of them have some companies, some allies, foreign allies that they work, in hand with, to make sure that the military hardware procurement, of these procurements are brought to this country. So the corruption we are talking about is from the National Assembly. The money you are seeing or you have had that have been appropriated, ordinarily, by the time these things are procured, you now find it that the money that has been appropriated so far is not up to what has been spent on the procurement of this and all the rest of it. So you cannot rule out corruption in this issue, on this matter. So definitely, corruption starts from National Assembly. The people, the legislators who have appropriated these funds, they have something that they will take back, in return of this fund. And eventually, by the time this money gets to the appropriate quarters, the military, the defense, as the case may be, it's just something that will be very, very, something to write about, because they will have shared money even before it gets to the DICON in question. So corruption cannot be ruled as it is. There's nothing we have to do something, we have to wash, we have to create, kind of checks and balances, in this system, so that things like this will not, be reoccurring. Because in the past, how much has been appropriated during Buhari's era? You are heard of so many military officers, military defense, former ministers of defense, former army chiefs that have been questioned, that have been, that have been investigated on arms procurement, and they have been tried, during that period. So it's not about, allocating money and things like that. During the days of during the Civil War, you can see. That's why I align myself with local content, local production. Look at the Biafran soldiers. They produce their own, arms and ammunition locally. And you can see the federal government of Yakubu Gowon these days, they run for their money. So we still have people, Nigerian Army can still, even that is Nigerian Army Engineering Regiment is there. You understand? That is the job of the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Army Engineering Regiment. That's a department in the Nigerian Army who can handle this thing domestically. So there's no cause for alarm, but you can rule out corruption in this regard. Thank you so very much.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you so much, comrade, for that one. Amazing. Well, from all indications, it shows this is a good move. And of course, Nigerians will definitely be supporting the local manufacturing of these weaponries or ammunition. And of course, hopefully, like Chief Gordy, Barrister, and of course, comrade have said, the government can just try to listen to people, because trust me, sometimes all you need is just to hear what the people have to say, and things will just start working. Okay, anyways, let's move to the next okay, we have a next topic, but before that, I want to take a trendy video, because this is quite bothersome, because when I saw the video, I was like, okay, what is the country turning into? Now this video is Yaya Bello, who received a heroic welcome from Kogat. That was last week, after he was arrested for looting about 110 billion naira as their two-term governor. but yet his welcome party, his welcoming was heroic. It was like a warrior that went to the battlefield and came back victorious. But why, I still do not understand. But let's see this video, and of course when we come back we'll get reactions and of course analysis to that video. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Okay, alright, welcome back. You're still watching your favorite social media program, The Buzz. Now, that video is Yaya Bello. And my first question is, what happened to Nigerians? What's going on?
Anybody can say whatever they like to say about MKO Abiola. I'm sorry, Obasanjo's era.
Okay.
Everybody can say whatever they want to like to say. We can say we are having a democracy. We can say it's a democratic dispensation. You see, these are the things that Senate climbs will not take us very serious. I mean, this is the man, yes, you could say he has not been convicted, he has been accused. I am particularly embarrassed about the governor of Kogi State. I am particularly embarrassed. I mean, myself and governor, I don't think we are around the same age bracket. With Yaya Bello, about the same age bracket. And this is the country that they say the old politicians has failed us. This is the man that has been on the run in the first place.
Yeah, from the very beginning.
He was fugitive for 4 months, hiding in his own country, was hiding away. And this is the same man that the Kogi people that saw the flag of the APC flying high. So even their leader, Mr. President, cannot call some of these governors and say, look, there are some certain things you do that do not put us well. Let us say that the man has not stolen anything. But the mere fact that he has been accused of,
already,
and there are evidences of that fact that you went ahead and paid school fee of your children way ahead before your tenure, even after your tenure, that the school could return some money. It's a massive indictment in a state, you know, that so many people cannot send their children to school.
Very true.
And for you to devote that amount of money to mobilize that and make that shows that Kogi people, please, for the well-meaning, for the very good people, men and women of Kogi from Kogi State, I feel that they are highly disappointed about this. You see, at the end of the day, we can talk. We can all talk. You can see what is happening, and that is why nobody is taking our democracy serious. Because this cannot happen anywhere else apart from this country. It cannot happen anywhere else apart from Nigeria. For a man that is standing trial, a man that has been running away from security, from AFCC, eventually presented himself after several interventions
and even
after several interventions. And you're going to a state
and you celebrated
that you were so fortunate. That you were so fortunate to be a governor.
Two-time governor.
You were so fortunate. You were not the first, the second, the third on the ballot. Because the original person that the mandate was given passed before it was announced the winner, and you couldn't even, in your wildest imagination, you couldn't even serve your people that God has given you the opportunity to, something that you would never have tested in the first place if Audu had lived.
Yeah.
And after fleeing these people with their money, and because at the end of the day, please, we should go back to where we are coming from. The way we are coming from is that we should make governors work like the MDs of companies. They should go ahead, have a strategy on making their state. Because if this governor is a governor that works so hard, that will not at the end of the month go to Abuja for allocation, he will sit down and work. Because he will not even see money to even make himself comfortable in the first place. If we make governor begin to, whoever that want to be a governor of the state, begin to work like MDs of companies.
Yeah.
That you make sure that you do the right thing at the right time and stop all of these frivolities. This, and when I saw this, I almost wept. What is this? Yaya Bello, you're supposed to be covering your hair. Nobody's supposed to greet you.
And then he was waving.
Nobody's supposed to greet your family members. Nobody's supposed to talk to anybody. That's why I said Obasanjo. Because if it was Obasanjo in the first, this governor would not have done that. Before now, whatever, whether crook or hook, Obasanjo would have made sure that the State House of Assembly impeach him.
First.
Impeach this governor so that he could borrow himself in the local lands. He could borrow himself some sense.
Okay, thank you very much. Barrister, what's your reaction to that video of Yaya Bello being celebrated in a heroic way, you know, after
coming home?
After coming home.
From after defeating the Goliath.
Barrister, what's your take? What do you think about all of this?
It's unfortunate, but that's reality in our country. Our country, the moral value is no longer in existence in our country. It doesn't make any sense again. Though, like Mr. Alfonso said, he is still a suspect. He has not been found guilty. They, you know, in the early 80s or whatever that we hear about or that we know, once you are even alleged of anything, you become somebody like an outcast. You abnormal money. They're here in our own country today. When people are alleged of corruption or crime, they become more bold and become more what's it called? Buoyant in terms of more confidence. Unfortunately, I will not even blame them. I'll blame the people. The people are the ones celebrating them. If they are not being celebrated after being alleged of corruption, they will not do it. And it's about politics. Tomorrow, this same Bello we are talking about today now will say he wants to go to Senate in that same particular Kogi and it will be voted. And that will be all. So sometimes, and you see, the point is that those who are even trying to ensure that this corruption is trying to fight the corruption and not fighting it genuinely. If they have been fighting corruption genuinely in this country, most people will not go there again, or they will even be ashamed to be found guilty, to be found wanting, or to be alleged of corruption. But by the time you know it now, two things will happen. The Bello will either be that will be told that a plea bargain has been entered, or something happened. They will say the case has been thrown out, or nothing will happen thereafter. And for years, because we have so many of them who are former governors currently at the Senate, who are facing corruption charges at the time when they were elected. And that has been the end of it. And it appears that especially when you are aligned to people in power, they seem not to get any punishment for whatever you have done. So until people will start punishing people for this kind of things, people will not be deterred from doing this kind of a thing. Yaya Bello is not the first person that will be welcome in this matter. So many has happened. Even the former EFCC chairman that was suspended, he got the same similar welcome, heroic welcome. So many governors, so many senators, so many ministers, similar things have happened to them. So it's now become a pattern in our country. People now celebrate people who have been alleged of crime. It's an unfortunate situation, like I said. It's a shame to the people of Kogi State and to the people of Nigeria that we are seeing this. It's unfortunate. Like I said, it's unfortunate. That nothing I can say again. Though, like I said, he has not been found guilty. He's still a suspect and is still presumed innocent until the contrary is established. But as it is today, he's been alleged of corruption. And when you are alleged of corruption, I do not expect that you'll not be doing, you know, be celebrating the return from a custody. That's what they are celebrating, return from custody. Not that he has achieved that after being released from custody. Not that he has done something that's worthy of celebration. It's that celebration is to welcome him back home from custody. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. Comrade, do you have something different from what Barrister Tunji and Chief Godi has actually said as regards to the kind of welcoming, you know, Bello actually got from his Kogites, Kogi State citizens or Kogi State people?
Chief Fossey and the barrister have said, those crowds you are seeing, with all due respect, barrister, they are rented crowds. Do you get it now? No person of genuine conscience will stay in his home and will come out just because, you know, to come and celebrate, to come and celebrate a governor that has been allegedly, you know, been involved in corruption cases within the state, because it's their state money. So they are rented crowds. They will be paid. You forgot so soon that the present governor Ododo is his anointed child, you know, servant. So these are political, members of certain political parties that have been rented to come and do this, to come and act, you know, in this manner, you know, these shenanigans that have happened in the state. So a person who is who has a conscience, who has a moral, fear of what the society implies, will not join in this shenanigans that has been displayed in this state. You have forgotten so soon the case of James Ibori. James Ibori was absolved of all his corruption charges in Nigeria, not until he went to UK. You get it? The same charges that was placed on James Ibori and was absolved. You know, he was let off the hook in Nigeria. Was also, put to him in the UK, and he was tried. And he was not the only person that was sentenced. You know, his lawyer, his wife. You get it now. So our judicial system, that's what is playing out. Tomorrow, Yahya Bello, you have forgotten too soon that Mr. President, our President Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be contesting 2027. And tomorrow, don't be surprised that the likes of Yahya Bello will be the Director General, of the presidential campaign for 2027, and eventually, the man will be pardoned, presidential pardon. It happens during the days of Muhammadu Buhari. So all these things are just we are just being we are just listening. They are laughing us in the Committee of Nations that we are not fighting corruption. That's not the best way to fight corruption. If you are a party man, they give you a pat at the back. They just tell you, go and sin no more. You have forgotten the president did it. Join us in our party, and eventually we will give you, a bill of record. So just leave them. But one day, I know posterity will have a place in the book of the stand of history for each and every one of us in this country. So that's just my take.
Okay, thank you so much, Comrade, for that one. Well, we can't say much, but of course, looking at from everything what our guest has said, it is not a good. It's not a good thing to welcome someone who definitely.
It's not good optics.
Yeah, of course. At this point, I think Nigerians need to have a wake-up call. I do not know why we celebrate.
I don't still understand why the international community keeps still borrowing us money. I don't know. Because listen, I don't understand why IMF, World Bank, and other international organizations across the world keep lending us money. Because even in Nigeria, you can't go to a bank and lend some money and borrow some money only to come back home and engage in marrying of many wives and throwing party and go back to the same bank and get the loan when you have not paid. You have not even shown that this money has been put into good use.
Yeah.
So you see that We are borrowing money for people to just pick up, and people keep. And I'm afraid that someday some people may just come to this country and say, "We have taken over your country. The amount of money you are owing us is too much. We know you cannot pay at this point. You are bankrupt. You are," because the people at the highest level in this country should be able to begin to tame some of these things, nip some of these things in the bud. It is getting out of hand. If nobody can see that, with the amount of money involved in this allegation, and that show is being put. If Yaya Bello needed to go to Kogi State, he needed to sneak in the night.
Isn't something to celebrate about? He needed
to sneak in the night and sneak out before the day break. To go to, because the Kogi people would have been so angry. Look at their state. This is the same man. During the election, they just concluded the election. He went ahead, ordered some people to dug up the road, so that inner people cannot get there. To dug up the road. The road he didn't build.
Of course.
You know, Tunji said that Kogi people accepted it, and Comrie said it is a rented crowd. Rented or not, you have put these people down. You have made this. You have impoverished these people to a point that when you come back and want to give them the money, they will come and call it. It's not as if it's in there. So I hate the terminology rented. I hate it. These people feel entitled. This is our money. Me coming out to come and collect that money doesn't take anything away from it. Doesn't change my mind that you are who you are. So Yaya Bello can wave to the air, can wave to people. People of Kogi State know who he is. And he's in a place of history that he didn't serve Kogi well.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, when I saw the video, it was not something to celebrate about. There was nothing to celebrate about, even though we've not gotten to the root of the matter, but it's still ongoing. But yet, so far, it is still allegedly. I just believe that celebration was uncalled for and not even needed. Well,